writes upon the annals of time. One thing that comes through, we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Maelstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. But I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Maelstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea. From Maelstrom to Manhattan, New York to LA, you can't get the picture if they're pale or they're gray. But what we have seen might not be what it seems when the government's shadows dance in the sea.
There are competing agendas to determine mankind's fate. Their influence here for millions of years, all part of a cosmic state. Lemuria, Atlantis, and Dwaka view.
The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
Chemtrails. We've all heard about chemtrails. Google has scrubbed their search engine of all opposing views on chemtrails, showing only results that promote official government narrative. Now, the United States government has very long and storied history of performing both short and long-term experiments on sections of our population without their knowledge or consent. With that in mind, is the idea of chemtrails so far-fetched? Now, here's a report from a person living in Florida. I live in America's oldest city of St. Augustine, and it's purposely or virtually sunny every day. Multiple times per week for the last 9 years, I have watched with amused fascination as airplanes fly in a weaving pattern, crisscrossing each other while their planes emit a dense white trail. This trail, from here on referred to as a chemtrail, is not the same as the normal contrail that is produced when planes fly. A condensed vapor trail, or contrail, is thinner and just dissipates within seconds after the plane has passed. Now, the chemtrail, or chemtrail, is thicker and grows larger after it is produced, the exact opposite of the contrail. Now, he goes on to say, he went on to Googled chemtrails and was rather shocked at what results were returned to him. A few years ago, a Google search for chemtrails would have returned a healthy pro versus con selection, leaving the reader to investigate and make up their own mind. Not so in 2019. The Google results he got that day when he searched it, and he went through 15 pages of them. And you can check it yourself, he goes on to say. All informed me that if I believed that chemtrails were real, then I was crazy, a conspiracy nut, and not to be taken seriously. Oh, really, he says. So that got me thinking, he says, about other conspiracy theories, where the powers that be called people nuts and believing, but later turned out to be true. Now, here's just a few of them, such things as the Tuskegee forced syphilis experiment. We all know about that one. The CIA MK Ultra mind control experiments, another one that came to fruition. Agent Orange, many of us know about that. And military poisoning tests. These are just a few that were just, theories at one time, but turned out to be true. Also, people in Canada. Canada will be one of the coldest places on Earth the next week, nearly minus 30 Celsius. We've got some unfortunate news for you in Canada. According to the Weather Network, the coldest place on Earth will be Canada next week. Given the weather over the past couple of weeks, it's not exactly impossible to believe, but it's still pretty shocking. Earlier today, Environment Canada issued several winter storm and snowfall warnings in most parts of Canada. Now, according to the Weather Network, Canada is going to be even colder than Antarctica or the North Pole next week, as temperatures will drop to minus 30 Celsius with wind chill values on top of that. Now, over the next several days, Canada will experience one of the most extreme temperature anomalies on the planet. Now, the TWN reports, if you were planning to leave the house at all this weekend, you may want to cancel unless you have your snowsuit and thermal gear on hand. Arctic air is in the forecast to barrel down from the North Pole and will settle east of the Rocky Mountains. Now, that's reports from the Weather Network. Now, on Saturday evening, temperatures will begin to plummet, and by Wednesday morning, they are expected to hit minus 30 Celsius. It is not just the temperatures that will be cooling things down here, though. Powerful winds and up to 40 centimeters of snow are part of the Environment Canada's weather warnings for the next week. According to the Weather Network, when the snow starts falling, it will enhance the cold air mass and move temperatures into record territory by Wednesday and Friday morning. This is especially true in the places like Quebec, Ontario, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Now, the Weather Network was able to pull data from suggested the coldest it has ever gotten in Edmonton this time of the year was around minus 16 or 17 Celsius. Now, their records date all the way back to 1959. Now, if you think this is cold, snap it only going to it's only going to stick around for a week. Think again. The Weather Network has stated that the Arctic air will move like molasses and take over eastern Canada in the second week of November.
Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Gary Anderson.
Just waiting for that thunder to move off. Well, James, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, but I tell you what, I feel sorry for those poor folks, and I got a lot of friends in Canada. Man, they're really going to get it.
Oh, yeah. My mom was born in Canada. I tell you, she had a dual citizenship, but I tell you, that cold. And people, are in denial about Earth changes. A lot of things are going on. I mean, look at your weather. One week you're at 90, the next week you're in the 70s, and then what happened? It got cold. And didn't you get snow here just recently, or was I wrong?
No, we did. Let's see, when was that? I think Monday or Tuesday we got our first snow of the year, 1 inch. Yes, we did. It's been cold ever since. I mean, it's been around 30, but the wind chills bring it into 20s. In the mornings it's usually in the higher teens, so that's cold.
Oh,
compared to 70s every day in October.
And you got used to that too, and you were actually cutting your lawn too, if I remember right.
Yeah, I cut my lawn last week of October. I had to. It was growing like crazy.
Oh, that's what I'm just saying. Earth changes is going on, and again, North Pole. They're talking about a big area about the size of the United States is ready to break off. They said if that does happen, that'll raise the sea level 35 feet. I mean, I don't hear any great things going on about the Earth changes. It's going to benefit. It's all negative.
Well, here's the thing, and I've touched on it a few different places throughout the last week or so, but because I study all this stuff too, like you. And what happens when all this ice melts? It's fresh water, and it's lighter than salt water, so it pushes the salt water down, and this can and does affect some of the currents, and it also affects the weather. So all this told, it changes weather patterns and weather temperatures throughout the globe, and here we go. It does have an effect.
Oh, it does, and I just think it's just going to keep worse and worse. I think this hurricanes and all this stuff is going to intensify. And then earthquakes. I mean, there's been a lot of earthquakes here the last couple of weeks. So, I mean, a lot of things are happening. I just can't believe it. It's just all of a sudden starting to manifest now.
Right. And then, you got the Ring of Fire there in the Pacific Ocean, and I've always wondered if some of this could trigger some of that. And, that's a big old chain there, the River of Fire volcanic chain there under the water.
Well, I think it would.
Yeah, and with anything out in the ocean, well, look at Japan. Earthquakes in the water, it creates tsunamis. And look how many thousands of people have lost their lives in Japan in the last few years.
Oh, yeah. And still things are kind of washing up from the last big one they had. Still washing up even here in the Washington coast, like old parts of boats and all kinds of stuff. So, and that, you think about how long the stuff has been out in the sea, and all of a sudden it's starting to, work its way here. I don't know. Hey, one thing I want to talk to everybody about is the show now is 4 hours long. Now, tonight, we're not going to have two guests on. We're only going to have, we got our regular back tonight, Tim Swartz. We're going to be talking about time travel, time machines. Maybe might even talk a little bit about TV shows that were, theme-based around time travel. Black holes, and they just had a report of a star coming out of a major black hole. Did you see that in the news?
I did, and see, that's amazing because that goes against the status quo, so to speak, because they've always thought that anything gets beyond the event horizon, it's gone. You can't come back out, or nothing could come out once it goes in. So that kind of, I don't know. I think there's stuff going on. We just don't know. There's so many weird things in the universe that we just don't know.
No, I mean, the theory is if something went through a black hole, it'd be literally tore apart. And it would, it wouldn't come out as anything. It would be absorbed as matter. But, it's been a lot of things. The star here just coming out recently of one. And then a whole bunch of other stuff here, a couple months ago, they watched come out of black hole. So that's kind of shot that theory down. But anyway, about